Mercedes-Benz. The name alone evokes images of elegance, engineering excellence, and German precision. For over a century, the three-pointed star has symbolized luxury and innovation across the world, but not every Mercedes has lived up to that reputation. Behind the brand's shimmering chrome and stately presence lies a darker history of rusting panels, failing electronics, and catastrophic engineering missteps. Today, we're diving deep into the 30 worst Mercedes models ever made. Cars that made even die-hard fans question the brand's direction. So buckle up, because this ride's going to get bumpy. At number 30, we have the late 1990s Mercedes-Benz C230. This compact sedan marked a period of transition for Mercedes, unfortunately, not in a good way. Electrical gremlins, failing window regulators, and transmissions that couldn't make up their minds all combined to make ownership expensive. And that wasn't the last time the C-Class would appear on this list. Next up, the early 2000s S320. This was supposed to be the ultimate in luxury, but it became the low point of Mercedes engineering. Suspension and transmission failures were so common that repair bills often exceeded the car's resale value. Then came the W168 A-Class, Mercedes' first front-wheel drive car, and the infamous elk test failure. Yep, this little hatchback actually tipped over during emergency swerves. Mercedes had to halt production and redesign the entire stability system. Moving back in time, the W123 300D turbo diesel was reliable in theory, but in reality, painfully slow, noisy, and prone to rust. Think tractor in a tuxedo. And rounding out this group at number 25, the first-generation GLK class, a compact SUV with electrical problems, oil leaks, and a repair list longer than its owner's patience. The 560cl of the late 80s should have been the ultimate status symbol. Instead, it was the ultimate repair shop customer. Faulty suspension, cracked dashboards, and failing head gaskets made it an expensive nightmare. Then came the W204 C-Class from 2008. Its early models riddled with transmission and infotainment failures. The command screen often just stopped working. At 22, the E320 from the early 2000s, which featured an interior filled with electrical gremlins, fuel smells, warning lights, and poor build quality defined this era. And remember the W124, one of the most beloved Mercedes of the 80s and 90s. Its later years introduced biodegradable wiring harnesses, which literally disintegrated over time. Eco-friendly? Maybe. Reliable? Absolutely not. Then came the X164 GL class, a massive SUV that promised Escalade-level luxury but delivered subpar materials, air suspension failures, and laughable fuel economy. Finally, the first-generation B-Class, Mercedes' attempt at a family MPV that looked more like a delivery van than a luxury car. At 17, we meet the Metris van, a confused experiment between a minivan and a commercial work van. Underpowered, awkward, and underbuilt, it failed both families and fleets alike. The GLA class introduced in 2013 brought even more disappointment. Poor ride quality, rattle-in interiors, and electrical issues plagued this so-called entry-level luxury crossover. At 15, the 190e 2.6, beloved by some, but plagued with rust, timing chain problems, and hard-to-find parts. It's a mechanic's nightmare dressed like a banker's car. Number 14, the C320 2005, known for electrical chaos and cooling system failures. If you owned one, odds are you became best friends with your local service manager. Then we hit 13, the SLS AMG, a $200,000 supercar with gull-wing doors that wouldn't open. Early models suffered from transmission failures and hydraulic door malfunctions, turning supercar excitement into supercar anxiety. Next, the E-Class W210, infamous for rusting faster than a cheap bicycle. It marked the start of Mercedes' cost-cutting era in the late 90s. And 11, the SLK R171. At 10, the first-gen CLS class. It looked incredible, a four-door coupe with stunning lines, but beneath that sleek exterior hid unreliable air suspensions and endless mechanical issues. Number 9, the C230 compressor, is where things get supercharged, literally. Unfortunately, the supercharger unit often failed before 100,000 miles. Combine that with transmission problems and steering failures, and you've got a luxury lemon. The C240 of the early 2000s continues the trend. Rust issues, steering malfunctions, and headlight failures galore. Then comes the W203 C-Class, often cited by owners as one of the worst-built Mercedes models ever. Electrical issues, overheating, and premature rusting made it a cautionary tale. And, at 6, the infamous R-Class, Mercedes' failed attempt at mixing a van and a luxury car. With air suspension leaks, transmission problems, and an identity crisis, it was doomed from day one. Coming in at 5, the 2002 M-Class. Recalls, cruise control malfunctions, and engines that just gave up. It represented the absolute bottom of Mercedes' early SUV reliability. Number 4, the W220 S-Class, an icon turned embarrassment. The once proud S-Class suffered from failing electronics, rusty bodywork, and collapsing air suspensions. Many call it the worst Mercedes ever made. At 3, the A180 hatchback, a budget Mercedes that delivered neither performance nor comfort. Poor ergonomics, cheap materials, and instability made it an embarrassment in the compact class. Number 2, the 2006 ML350 takes things to a new level of disaster. Faulty camshaft solenoids, broken transmissions, and more than 260 recorded complaints from owners. This SUV single-handedly destroyed confidence in Mercedes' American-built models. And finally, at number 1, the M-Class W163, 1997-2006. This was Mercedes' first SUV, and possibly its biggest failure ever. Built in Alabama during the Daimler-Chrysler merger, it was riddled with mechanical faults, cheap materials, and build quality that would embarrass a budget brand. It marked the beginning of Mercedes' reliability crisis, a decade that nearly broke the brand's reputation for good. So, what went wrong? Mercedes-Benz chased cost savings, expanded too fast, and experimented with technologies before perfecting them. Between the late 1990s and early 2010s, the brand prioritized innovation over durability. And it showed. But here's the good news. They learned from it. Today's Mercedes models undergo far more rigorous testing, and the brand has largely regained its reputation for excellence. Still, for those who lived through the W220 and W163 years, the scars remain. What do you think? Did your Mercedes make the list? Drop a comment below and tell us which model was your worst ownership experience. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, because next time we're covering the 20 greatest Mercedes models ever made.